Hi, my name is Cody Dar. I am the creator of SEGI, which is a voxel-based global illumination solution for Unity. Completely real-time, no pre-computation, all computed on the fly. I'm just going to kind of be showing off the effect itself. I'm going to talk about some of the strengths and the current weaknesses. It is in beta right now, and as of the recording of this video, it is the first beta release, beta version 0.8. And so, keep that in mind definitely as I'm showing this off. I'm going to be sort of putting together just, some various geometry here with ProBuilder, which is another Unity asset. And I'm also using Scene View FX so that I can preview the scene with SEGI on versus, this is just the standard scene. I will definitely provide a link for both of those things in the description. Definitely check those out. Both have been really useful. So anyway, SEGI is, like I said, voxel-based global illumination. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of building random stuff here. So you can see, how things kind of update completely on the fly. And, this is going to be a good option, especially when it's a little more mature, for people who are putting together games with any sort of content being generated at runtime, whether it's procedural or like a simulation kind of thing where users are building their own geometry, things like that, where you can't exactly pre-compute the lighting, but you'd still like something, some nicer lighting in your game. See, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of going at it. But, so what is SEGI capable of? Right now, as you can see, it supports indirect illumination from directional light. So, as you can see, this floor is orange here, and it's bouncing up, lighting up this face here, an appropriate color. And I can actually disable the directional light here for a moment, so you can see it also supports skylight occlusion, I suppose you could call it, which is super important for a natural look in your lighting. I'm gonna move this maybe inward and scale it down. So yeah, it will support other types of lights in the future, point and spotlights. I do want to also point out that it supports any emissive materials in the scene, so I can kind of pop that there, and you can see kind of lights things up appropriately, which is really nice. So yeah, well, let's see, new shape. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I'm still getting used to it. And as you can see, it's super nice to prototype geometry with ProBuilder. Very, very simple, quick to get. Just jot things down, jot down various, geometric ideas that you've got. Although I'm just going at this kind of willy-nilly right now. But yeah, as you can see, the indirect lighting is just completely updating as I'm doing things here, which is, really, really different to see. So I'll show you some of the parameters here. So this is the UI for it. As you can see, there's you get a lot of customization. And I'll do another video where I'll sort of explain these things one by one. This is just a little quick overview. But you do have some debug tools here as well, which I kind of wanted to show you. So this is basically a debug view of the voxelization of the scene. That can help you, kind of understand. And this is the data that is being used to directly calculate lighting. So, if you've got any sort of issues, you can kind of figure out what's going on if something's the wrong color or not voxelizing properly. Of course, compatibility with different kinds of shaders and things will be improved in the future. As I said, this is the first beta version. And then you can change things like, the tracing properties. The more obvious adjustments would be like the amount of cones that are being traced. So if I reduce that, you can see the result is not as nice. Obviously, the more cones you have, the smoother the result is going to be. And then you can use stochastic sampling if you'd like. If you prefer a little bit of noise over, these banding artifacts here. And then you can use temporal sampling along with stochastic sampling to kind of really help smooth things out. So this is, you can see kind of how noisy that is. And then you can just sort of turn down that temporal blend weight, and basically that uses the result of previous frames to kind of converge into a less noisy result. So, and that's completely up to you if you want to use that. Right now, it may cause some issues with moving objects because I haven't implemented any sort of velocity buffer reprojection. So, right now it's pretty rough. Again, you don't have to use it. It will support dynamic objects better in the future. I'm just going to go back to how I had this before, which is, I think, there we go. Yeah, and then you've got things, like the cone width, which is kind of affects the smoothness. I usually just keep that at the highest setting. So yeah, let me change some of these materials here for you guys so you can kind of see more color bouncing. So as you can see there, some appropriate color bouncing there. And another thing that SEGI is able to render is voxel-based reflections. So these are still pretty rough, but, and again, it's up to you whether you want to use this or not, and it will improve in the future. But so I can just kind of apply a metal material here, and you can kind of see how that looks. I'll do one here as well. So and then I can change the lighting here, and the reflections are completely, they're not screen space, and they're completely contextual based on the lighting around that area, which is, really nice. And of course, this supports any sort of angle or surface. So it's a little more powerful than reflection probes in that sense. Although, as you can see, I've got a normal map on here. And it does look kind of better if you've got either a normal map or a roughness map to kind of break up the appearance of the reflections. As you can see right here, they're, not perfect, and they're not going to be because the voxel resolution just, got to cut corners somewhere. It's, it's completely real time, so. But, most things have normal maps. You're not going to be able to do like mirrors or things like that, but you can always use just classic planar reflections for that. So I'm just going to kind of build a couple more things here with this scene, and then I'll show you something I put together a little earlier that looks a little better than this. Again, I'm still kind of getting used to ProBuilder, but it's just awesome to be able to really just throw things together in the editor, not having to worry too much about, breaking up your workflow by putting together. If you're just doing, simple prototype geometry, this is a great thing to have. So, and then of course I can just manipulate these just like any other Unity object, which is really nice as well. So you can just duplicate it and, copy those. So you can see I'm getting some really nice indirect lighting here. And I'll make some sort of inset here so you can kind of see. Maybe make these walls that sort of orangish color. And I'll move the lighting around so you can see how that looks. So one more thing I haven't talked about yet is that SEGI can render infinite bounces, although, you know, what's actually truly infinite, but unlimited, I suppose, is a bit of a better term. But so this is what it looks like with one single bounce, you know, which is better than no GI, which would look like this. Certainly better, but infinite bounces definitely improves the look of it, especially if you don't have a key directional light like this. So let me disable infinite bounces. You can see that, you know, this area up here is completely black, when in reality these surfaces here would bounce up and illuminate that. So, and then you can adjust the strength of it, although be careful, because if you crank it up too high, you'll run into that. So yeah, you can change that to your liking, of course. You can get a really nice glowing, almost Pixar-ish look if you crank that up just, you know, just a little bit. You get that nice oversaturation. So this is something else I put together earlier, just, you know, with ProBuilder. Again, you can have emissive lights here if you want. And these don't have to be solid. They can be textures. They can be animated textures. For the sake of simplicity, I just have them as basic textures, or basic solid colors. You know what? Let me slap a texture on that. Okay, so this is what these emissive areas look like with a just some texture that I threw on there real quick. But, you know, as you can see, lighting is all proper there, as it should be. I can kind of scroll it and you can see lighting updates with it. So SEGI as it is now is going to work pretty well for, you know, simple scenes like this with simple large blocky geometry. If I move out here, you can kind of get a sense of the scale that it's capable of right now, which is not fantastic, but right now there's no sort of cascades or anything like that. It's just one simple volume. You can definitely, I definitely recommend checking out the development roadmap, which is at sonicyether.com/SEGI. Just scroll down to the bottom there. You'll see a list of things that I'm working on, and you can see how far along they're coming. You can see one of them is I'm preparing an update for right now, which is a bit of a speed up in voxelization and an improvement in memory usage. So that's you can get a sense of where it's going. You can also check out there what the current limitations are and kind of get an idea of where it is and where it's going. As I said, this is an ongoing project, and I definitely want your feedback. If any of you guys have purchased SEGI, you know, how it's been for you, your experience with it specifically in your project. A big reason why I wanted to release a beta version is so that I can get that kind of experience and feedback, and that can help me have new goals, new design goals for people who, you know, are actually making games, not just making a prototype level like I'm doing. Since, you know, I don't have an actual serious game project, I want to get the experience of people who do, so that I can make good design choices and really bring this closer to being a practical solution for games, which I would say right now is probably not quite there. Performance-wise and limitation-wise, it's not quite as robust as I'm hoping it will be in the future, but it still has a long way to go. So there's still a lot to be done. I have a lot of plans for it, a lot of ideas, and that's gonna, you know, continue to develop. And also definitely check out the forum page, and I'll post links to all of these things, or I'll do an annotation, future me. Hey. So yeah, check those out if you want to, sort of stay up to date on how it's doing. And if you want to provide feedback, the forum's a good place to do that. You can also use the contact form on my website if you want to report a bug, or if you have any questions or suggestions for it. I'd definitely be happy to hear from you. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much it. Like I said, I will have a bit more of an instructional video coming out pretty soon, so definitely look out for that. And yeah, thanks for watching.